Good morning. Happy Hanukkah to everybody. You are listening to Table for Two with Naomi Nachman on the Nachum Siegel Network. Our show is sponsored by Abels and Hyman. We taste better. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Naomi Nachman. I'm about all the food, all the time. As you can see, donuts. I love food. I love to shop for it, cook it, eat at restaurants, anything food related. I'm a kosher personal chef. My business is called the Aussie Gourmet. And anytime you don't feel like cooking, give me a call and I'll cook it for you. I cook for Shabbos, for Yontzah, for Hanukkah, anytime. Pesach's coming up too. Anytime you don't feel like cooking, I'll do it. And yeah, tune in every week and hear about my exciting cooking adventures, kosher food traveling, and sharing of great food ideas each week. But I want to hear from you. So you can email me at naomi@nachumsiegel.com. Tell me where you ate, what cookbook you're reading, anything exciting food news that you've had in your life or not. I'm happy to always listen. And you can join my newsletter on the aussiegourmet.com and I'll share some recipes with you each week. So I just wanted to take the time to dedicate the show for a minute to the passing of Gil Marks last about 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, I think, exactly on a Friday morning. And he is a tremendous loss to the foodie community as well. He was a James Beard winner, wrote many, many cookbooks. He was a guest on our show twice, just full of unbelievable food information, food history, food culture, as well as being an unbelievable chef. So it is a tremendous loss to his family. We wish them all the best, a long life for everyone, and we will all cherish what he shared with us in the food world. Okay, from a serious note to a very exciting show that we have today. It is Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights and donuts. I bought in some ZK. I bought us in like a dozen donuts from Krispy Kreme, which is the last standing kosher Krispy Kreme on the Eastern Seaboard. So, you know, in Penn Station, I took the train here today. Very exciting because I knew Melinda would give me a ride home. Melinda Strauss from my own neighborhood from kitchen-tester.com. I wanted to come in nice and early, and she is going to give me a ride home after our show. Thanks, Melinda. So I have an unbelievable show. I've got Alex Idov on the phone. He's the kosherologist. We're going to say g'day to him in a minute. But I've also got Honey Apfelbaum busy in Brooklyn. And as I said, Melinda Strauss from kitchen-tested.com. It's very hard to say fast. But we're really excited to celebrate Hanukkah and have a little Hanukkah party right here in the studio because ZK and I love to eat. Okay, Alex, are you there?
I'm here.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank God. How are you?
Good, good. How's it going? He's in Atlanta, Georgia. How's the weather there?
It is nice and sunny today, thank God. I have the urge to run out for Krispy Kreme donuts right now.
I know, right? Sorry, you have to run all the way to Penn Station.
I know. Well, you know, thank God we have some kosher here, and I don't know if you know, they have some Parv Krispy Kreme pies. I don't know if they have them in the grocery stores there.
We do not. Okay, Parv Krispy Kreme pies. Can you send us some? I'm serious.
I have to do that.
What kind of pies are they?
They have apple and chocolate, I think banana, lemon. They have a whole variety, and I just thought it was so awesome that they're Parv.
It's time to take a trip.
Okay, girls.
Yeah,
Atlanta, Georgia. Let's jump in our car.
There we go.
When we make it there before Shabbos, it's a 14-hour drive.
I'll fly.
Yeah,
you guys
okay.
can drive, I'll fly.
Okay, road trip. Okay, or plane trip. Okay, great. Okay, so Hanukkah, talk to me. What are you busy with your... Alex has got an amazing blog called The Kosherologist, and what are you working on now on your blog?
So for Hanukkah, I have some amazing latkes coming, God willing, next week. I'm currently rebuilding my blog at the moment, so hoping to get it up and running.
Okay.
With some tropical pastrami latkes and some pizza latkes, some Greek-inspired latkes, like Greek salad. Figured it's a good way to celebrate Hanukkah. We defeated the Greeks, and we'll have some Greek latkes.
Oh, I like that.
Really
I like
cute.
that. I did a pizza latke the other week. I made this giant latke. Had tons of potatoes in my house. Just
like a rosti?
What's that?
That's like basically a giant latke.
A giant latke. My grandmother used to make them frying pan. Oh, but her kugel was like that.
Yeah.
And she would make it in the frying pan. But so I made a nice thin latke and I put it over the bottom of a frying pan. And it was a bit hard to flip, but I finally got it to flip with using 2 forks. And then when I put it on not parchment paper. Oh my gosh, Bounty to Bounty.
Drain
What's
off
it?
the
Drain
oil,
off
yeah.
the oil.
Paper
What's it?
towels.
Paper towels. Thank you. It's been a really long morning because I had to take the train in early, and then I put marinara sauce on and some cheese, and it was
Delicious.
Yeah, my kids like, wow, is that cauliflower pizza? Because they like when I make that because it's healthy. I'm like, nah, it's a fried latke pizza. They're like, oh, great.
Not healthy, but delicious.
Not healthy, but it was delicious. There was not a morsel
good.
left. Yeah. Okay, so how did you start your blog? What inspired you?
Well, I grew up around the food business and around food, and always kind of had a inclination to go into food. So I'm currently in culinary school here in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, nice.
And I figured when I started that, I could share my experiences with others and share recipes with others, since I like to do that as well. And I figured that it's time to start a blog and share my insights into the kosher world, and hopefully learn from other people's insights into the kosher world, and other people's recipes, get inspirations, and just kind of wanted to break into the world of kosher and see what it has to offer and share what I have to offer, which is not a lot, but
Oh, it's a lot. It's great. I was on your blog actually yesterday, doing a little bit of background checking up on you. I saw there's a very cute picture of you when you were a little kid cooking.
right, yeah. But like I said, I grew up in the kitchen and just kind of fell into it, I guess.
Okay, very nice. What's your favorite food? I try to
Favorite
ask all the
food?
bloggers this. What's your favorite
That's a
thing? What do you
tough
love to cook the
question.
most?
Anything for Shabbos, really. I just it's hard for me to pick one item. I'll tell you, since my father's a professional baker, I guess I kind of have
nice.
desserts are my favorite. So favorite thing to make for dessert I can share is bourbon mousse.
Oh, nice.
with
You had me.
ginger snap
Yeah,
cookies.
you had me at bourbon. Nice.
Yeah, that's I feel the same way.
Is that on your blog,
Um,
Alex?
So that will, God willing, be on my blog as soon as I get my new site up.
Good.
Which again, I
'Cause I
hope
wanna
is next
make
week. So it's very good. I have to say so. It's I took the recipe from my father, so I can't take any credit for it. But it's one of the
Okay.
few recipes he'll let me share.
Okay,
It's
nice.
one of his own.
And so you're living in Atlanta. What I like to talk about food culture. Wherever city we're in. So I was in Hawaii. I looked up. What are the flavors of Hawaii and the flavors that they use. Melinda's from Seattle. Is that different than the flavors that we use from Honey from Brooklyn or me from Australia? So you're from the South. I don't want to say the South. I don't even know how to say it properly because I didn't grow up here. But you're not the Southern American states. Do I say that right? Is that how you put it?
Well, we always say the South. So I think
We're
you
from
got
the
it right.
South, so people will understand what I'm saying. So,
Right.
You're from the South. What influences your cooking from local cuisine?
Well, Jewish-wise, I'm fourth generation Atlantan.
Nice.
My great grandmother was born here, so we really have that influence. And I grew up with Shabbos having collard greens, which is a very southern.
I've never had it.
I love them.
Green.
Me too.
It's
They're
so
so
good. Originally, the non-kosher, it calls for ham hocks, and my family always put shawarma turkey, Aaron's turkey leg. They put that in there to give it a little smoked flavor. So you just cook them long with that, smoked flavor, and it's really, really good. They're real tender. I mean, they're real tough when they're raw, but when you cook them so long, they just
Melt away.
melt away, right? And so a lot of that I grew up with black-eyed peas and just barbecue chicken, Brunswick stew. I don't know if you ever heard of that or
No.
ever had that.
Have you heard of Brunswick?
No, what is that?
What is that?
So it's ground beef, and it's with you mix it with cream corn and kernel corn and peppers and barbecue sauce, and it also stews for a long time. And it's very good. It goes well with cornbread and chicken, fried chicken, barbecue chicken,
Fried chicken, yum.
everything.
Okay, no.
Pretty much the Southern influence. I think the extent of it in my family.
Okay, there's actually a cookbook from, I think it might actually be from Memphis. It's Jewish Cooking with a Soul. I think it's food recipes from the South.
Right.
One
yeah,
of the
I think I've seen that.
Yeah, one of the schools in Memphis, I think, put it out. I've got it. It has some great recipes in there. I've been too scared. Is okra also from the
Oh,
South?
right. I forgot about okra. You're
Fried
right.
okra.
With,
Fried okra.
with
I don't like
fried okra and okra and tomatoes.
I don't
I
like
love
okra.
okra
Yeah, I
and
don't like
tomatoes.
I've never had it. I gotta get cooking more Southern food. Yeah, I like the
Okay.
barbecue stuff more than I like okra, I guess, or collard greens.
I think okra and collards are very acquired taste. I didn't really like collards until I think maybe 3 years ago. It took me a while to get a liking to it.
But what is it like? Is it bitter? Is it sweet? Like what does it taste like?
The collards.
Yeah.
So they're bitter when they're raw. When you cook them, you pretty much acquire the taste of. They're like spinach, really. Just a little bit more of more depth, to the flavor. A little bit, but the bitterness goes away with cooking.
Yeah, people eat raw collard green wraps. Like they use the collard green leaf as a wrap. Like vegans. Like I've seen it in cookbooks. I don't know how they eat that. It's so bitter and like tough to chew.
Like kale.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Even kale is easier to eat raw. I mean, I've tried raw collard greens.
Okay.
You have tried it?
I have tried it. Horrible.
Oh.
Like horrible. I tried to make a wrap once. No.
Not good. I happen to love kale, and I can't eat raw kale. Like it's got to be dressed.
I prefer wilted kale too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wilt it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. Alex, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be on the show.
No problem. And will you send me an email, let me know, and I'll let my listeners know when your new blog is up and running?
For sure.
Because we'd love to see. We all want that bourbon mousse.
I want to see those latkes.
And the latkes, yeah.
Greek ones sound really
Yeah,
good.
I know. Well, we're in the middle of Hanukkah now. We're only in the first half, so we've got a good couple of days ahead of us to make some more latkes and donuts.
Right. You can never have too many latkes.
Absolutely. And you know what? There's no reason why we can't eat latkes after Hanukkah, right? Like, why not?
Sure, it's just fried food. Sometimes people are afraid to eat it because it's got a lot of fat, but I'll eat fried food all year round.
Right.
I'm not dieting.
You just go to the gym afterwards. I don't understand.
Or you bake them.
Oh, you bake them. Yeah, baking. Yeah, never quite the same as fried.
I know, I agree.
I love. But, everything in moderation. So, I won't eat this entire box of donuts all today. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Alex.
Hey, thank you.
Happy Hanukkah. Have a good Shabbos, and we'll be following you along.
Sounds great.
Take care.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi.
That was Alex Idov, the kosherologist, right here on the Nachum Siegel Network. It was very nice to have him. We've been talking. We met through Melinda's Kosher Food Bloggers Conference, and even a little bit before that, Alex had reached out to me. He also writes for the Jewish Home, which is a 5 towns newspaper, even though he lives in Atlanta, because he's very close with the editors of the Jewish Home, because he learned in his Shar Yashav and in Far Rockaway. So, we've been in touch, and then we finally got to meet, and so I wanted to have him on the show. I think he's also part of our Kosher Connections group.
Oh, yeah.
So it's nice to also meet people that, are part of the group. So I'm just going to close these donuts because I have to say they're the smell of them is making me want to shove them all in my mouth. So I'll save that for after the show. Welcome, ladies. We got the team back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very happy that you guys could tear yourselves away, because I know there's a lot going on, and Friday morning before Hanukkah in the middle of Hanukkah, any time I guess is busy. Erev Shabbos on the shop fry, but I really appreciate you guys coming in.
Always a pleasure.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you.
We love it here.
Thank you. Yeah, next week is a big show. We're going to be actually in Cedarhurst.
Oh.
Yeah, we're doing it from Gourmet Glut Live.
I'll
so
come visit.
yeah, come down to the set. Everyone is invited to join us down in Cedarhurst at 9 to 10:30. It's a supersized show, so please come down. You'll get to meet us in person and have a good time. And we've got some great guests. You know who's coming on? Oh, there's a flash there. We've got kid chef Eitan Benath.
Oh, cute.
Yeah,
Nice.
he was on Chopped.
Right.
And he's amazing. We met him at Kosher Fest, and I invited him to come, and he's actually going to do a cooking demo. Honey did the last one.
Cute.
And we were in Gourmet Glut, so I invited him to do it. So he's been prepping for it, and he just won some award at the Tzivas Hashem
Dinner.
Wow.
the other night. So he was so excited about it.
That's so nice.
Yeah, so he's going to be on. Jay Buxbaum's going to be there. We're going to be drinking and eating and having our usual fun. So, and more guests will be announced, I guess, closer to the time. Okay, so, Honey, you've been super busy. Mm-hmm. Very, very busy in Brooklyn. I'm changing the name of your website to very, very busy in Brooklyn.com.
Sounds good to me.
Or just regular busy in Brooklyn. What have you got cooking for Hanukkah?
Well, I have my poutine latkes. I don't know if you saw those.
Who on planet Earth did not see them? They got passed and shared around the entire social media network. They looked amazing.
Yeah, so that's really exciting. Have you ever tried poutine?
No, I didn't even know what it was till I saw your post. What is it?
Okay, so it's like a national dish of Canada. Just like hot dogs are like the American dish, poutine is the Canadian dish. So I was actually in Montreal a couple months ago with my family, and I was at Pizza Pita.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah, and
great
everyone's
place.
like, you have to try the poutine there.
Okay.
So I tried it, and I went back for more. It was really good.
Like
I mean,
a true foodie.
how could, French fries get any better? They're smothered in like mozzarella and gravy.
So it's actually a French fry with gravy and cheese.
Yes.
Oh,
Usually it's
So
curds.
usually they use cheese curds, right? That's what's usually used.
what's a
but
cheese curd?
It's made from soured milk. It's the curds from soured milk. So they're
Sorry,
kind
I don't eat yogurt. So the minute you say soured milk, even though I do eat sour cream, I gotta just shake. Ugh.
so they say they're kind of squeaky. They don't have them in I only eat Chalvisral, so they don't have them in Chalvisral. And I think Pizza Pita, that's why they use like a shredded mozzarella.
Okay.
In my recipe, I wanted it to look a little bit more like the curd, so I actually used fresh mozzarella. I just broke it apart into like shreds, and so I think it actually kind of it definitely looked like it. And I never tasted cheese curds, but I can imagine that it tastes something like that. And I made a Parmesan gravy special for Hanukkah. I wanted to make it dairy. And also, it's really hard to get that really good deep flavor when you're making like a par of gravy. So I said I'll put a little Parmesan in it to give it that extra bit of depth. Yeah. So it really worked. It was really delicious.
I'm so making that for dinner on Sunday night. I've had that clipped in my...
Okay, cool. Let me know how you like it.
Yeah, oh my God. What could be bad, right?
Right.
Okay. So I just have to welcome to the Abels and Hyman family.
Thank you. It was so fun. I actually went to the Abels and Hyman factory the other week. And Seth gave me a tour.
Isn't it fun there? I love it.
It's so fun, but more than that, I felt like I had this misconception about hot dogs that they're just like feeding junk to your kids. And really, I mean, I saw how, the process, and it starts with a real cut of meat that they grind up and add spices. And it really, especially with his new product that he has, the no nitrate hot dog.
I know, it's fantastic.
Yeah, he uses natural nitrates, celery, and cherry. Yeah,
natural.
And natural nitrate. So that's a really great product. And I actually took home a package and served it to my kids. And my daughter, who is so picky and does not have a very big appetite, asked me for another hot dog. I was like, oh my God, thank you, Seth. and I didn't feel bad about it because I really saw that, it's really not, it's not the junk that I thought it was. I mean, maybe some companies do use
a lot of junky products.
But,
and fillers.
you read the label. It doesn't have that many fillers. Doesn't have, there are actually no fillers.
There are no fillers. And I've said this, and I said it as recently as our Kosher Fest show, that they, when you go over, did he show you the big vat, the chopper, where they actually literally take roast that you would make for Shabbos, and that's what they put in the chopper that goes into the hot dog.
Right, I know, shocked.
Right?
Yeah.
And you could see it was dark red in color as opposed to white, which is all the fat.
Mm-hmm.
There's a drop of fat in there because you
Exactly.
do need, and we'll all say it, right?
Yeah.
I'm in a room full of bloggers here.
Sure.
That you need
Fat is flavor.
Fat is flavor, and you
Fat
need a
is
little
flavor.
bit of it.
Yes.
So
And
Yes.
moisture.
and moisture,
exactly.
exactly. So you're going to be doing a lot of Instagramming, and I think Seth's still running the competition. Join the Instagram page, and you can win a package of.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm going to put that on my website, so you can go to the AussieGourmet.com and get
But
some
I have
information.
a really exciting recipe going up
Oh,
for
yeah,
Hanukkah
for
and New Year's.
Okay.
A great cocktail recipe, something you can make for a Hanukkah party. It's going to be going up on my blog on Monday. So I'm making these little mini hot dog egg rolls, stuffing them with sauerkraut and little mini cocktail hot dogs, the no nitrate ones. And I'm going to make a dipping sauce with that. So,
Yum.
yeah, really fun little thing that you could serve at your Hanukkah party. Towards the end of Hanukkah, the last days, you might not want to be eating so much dairy anymore. So that would be a fun thing to serve at a Hanukkah party. And you can also make it for your New Year's party that's coming up soon. So
I know, everything's coming up. The year is ending. 2014 is coming
everyone
to an
keeps talking about next year, and I'm like, what? Next year? But yeah, the New Year is starting.
So in Australia, our school year ends in December. So when you say to someone, see you next year, because school starts in February, it's literally the calendar year has changed to 2015.
Right.
But in North America, we almost follow the Jewish calendar. So next, right, don't we?
What do you mean? In what way?
In terms of like no, we don't do the Jewish calendar.
Right. So next year, like you're in the middle of the school year,
Right,
and
because-
everyone's saying next year, and you're like, what are you talking about?
Right. Yes, you're right. You're right. I got myself confused there.
Right.
Little down under mix up. Yeah. So right. You like when next year is 2015.
Right.
But
Right, but we're in the middle of the
we're in
year.
the middle of the
so it's
academic. That's what I'm
confusing.
saying. Like you're
Especially
in the
for us because we started the new year by the Jewish New Year.
right. You stay in the same calendar.
Right.
So that's what I meant to say. Is the academic year is the same year as. Right, you start school in September with Rosh Hashanah. That's
Right.
what I was trying to say.
Right.
Right. So you follow the Jewish year almost, but
Right.
in Australia next year is,
Right.
2015,
The new school year, yeah.
and a new school year.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, really
You got
hard
it.
morning. I'm going to eat another donut now. Okay.
But here's another really fun thing I love making for Hanukkah. So
Okay.
I love getting the kids involved and getting excited. And how many jelly donuts can you eat already? I'm sure you can eat a lot of them.
I could eat
but
a lot of jelly
I
donuts.
know. I know. But a fun thing that I do for breakfast is I make French toast sufganiyot. I cut the challah out with a biscuit cutter to make it round.
Yeah.
And then I dip it in the custard and fry it. And I dust it with confectionery sugar and put a little bit of raspberry jam in the center. So
Okay,
it
so
looks like sufganiyot, but it's French toast.
I don't understand. You've got a cooked piece. What's the custard? What do you do?
Custard. Custard as in, you know how you make a custard when you make French toast? You mix eggs with milk and like
yeah.
a little bit of sugar.
Right. So I just want because not all my listeners.
Oh, you're
they
thinking custard as in the inside of the donut.
Right.
Okay.
So a person who's not so familiar with food terms
Okay.
will know when you refer to something as a custard, it's milk and eggs together
And
Right.
sugar. You want some sugar in there.
and a little sugar.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you make the custard for a quiche, which is
Exactly.
So I just wanted to clarify that.
Right. So you're dipping this round piece of bread as opposed to taking the whole piece of
It looks like a
challah.
bagel that you've cut
Yeah.
out.
Well, not a
from
bagel
colour.
because I don't cut out the center.
That'd be cute
You
if
don't
you
cut.
did,
You
though.
could though,
Round.
because
Looks
then it will look like
Right, but it doesn't look like jelly donuts.
right.
Right. Mine's going to look like a jelly donut.
Okay.
So basically, yeah. So you're going to dip it in the mixture of eggs and milk, fry it up. So you have this round piece of French toast. And then, put a little raspberry jam in the center, dust it with confectionery sugar. And
That's so cute.
it's cute. Yeah. The kids love it. It's really fun.
You know the problem with my challah is that I make challah every week. I cook it in a fleischick oven.
Well, I have a recipe on my blog for perfect parve French toast.
Oh, that's nice. Soy
Yeah.
milk instead of milk.
I don't like soy milk.
Coconut
because
milk?
first, I think I might have used almond milk or coconut milk. I'm a big
almond
fan
milk.
of coconut milk.
So I did not like coconut milk when I put it in my coffee. I thought it would have this nice.
Oh, no,
hint.
not good. It's terrible.
Oh, okay.
Coconut milk and coffee.
I'm
Unless
so-
you whip it up. If you whip it up, it actually takes on a different flavor. If you just put straight coconut milk in your coffee.
Depends
it
what
is
you're coconut milk
excellent.
from the can is gross. But
Yeah,
if you
it's
use the coconut milk like
creamer,
the
like the
coconut
silk.
dream, the carton,
Yeah.
as opposed to the canned coconut milk,
Yeah.
that's very.
But that
that's
has added
totally
sugar and it's
It's
I mean,
true, but if I'm saying as far as like eating
Parve.
a parve, if you really need that parve coffee with some creamer and you don't want to use chemical creamer,
Well, I use almond milk a lot at home.
Okay.
But I
coconut
didn't
milk
know.
is creamier though.
much
So I
creamier,
think
but
it-
almond
I-
milk also in your coffee. No, I mean, somebody out there can tell me different. I think it is also just.
I
Not
don't
good.
mind. I don't mind the almond milk in my coffee, but when I put a can of maybe it was the can, I don't know.
No, it's-
the coffee, and I thought it would have this like nice coconut hint.
It separates also.
We were like, bleh,
Yeah.
disaster. But I bought really great coffee back from Hawaii.
Oh, nice.
Coffee is this part of my foodie adventures I was talking a little bit about last week's show. Part of it's the only part of the United States where they grow coffee is in Hawaii. Mm-hmm. They used to have a lot of sugar cane and pineapple, still a lot of pineapple, but coffee's everywhere.
And coconut, right? Coconut.
Yeah, coconut. Yeah, we had lots of coconut. You're driving and then you see a stand of people just hacking coconuts down and sticking a straw in and drinking. It was really cool.
That's vacation.
Yeah,
Totally.
but I really thought this coffee would have tasted much better with coconut milk. So, ugh, not good. Okay, so talking about substitutes, we're going to see a lot of recipes now for donuts that they want milk in the mixture. So we can use almond milk, soy milk, rice milk,
Yeah, definitely.
coconut milk.
I have a recipe on my blog for chocolate donuts that are in the filling is peanut butter fluff and bananas, and it's topped with more chocolate and more peanut butter, and it's all dairy free, completely dairy
They
free.
look amazing.
And they taste amazing.
Amazing.
That's what you should have brought, Melinda.
I know. So
I didn't have time to make a whole new batch. I fry them up. You can also bake them, which is really nice because some people don't like to fry their dough, and I find that my dough actually bakes really well. Sorry, but I you know, everybody's dieting a little bit.
I
I know
know.
we're right in the middle of Hanukkah.
I
We're
know.
eating
I'm
so many
not
donuts.
dieting. I just got to spin at Studio Ina. I feel like that
You
kind
look good.
that counterbalances some of the donuts I've been eating. So Melinda, I just an official welcome to you, and we'll
Thank
spend a
you.
little bit of time talking to you because I always tell the ladies when I have a show, when I have the bloggers in, or a caterer or a restaurant, I said bring some samples because ZK and I love to eat on the show, and just love to eat off the show too. But Melinda said that she would be making some cookies. So let's talk a little bit about what you've bought, and then we'll talk
Sure.
while we eat. Yeah.
Sure, yeah. So I made these shortbread cookies. I have a version of the cookies on my blog with pistachios. You can look it up you could type in pistachio shortbread and they'll pop up. I believe that's one of the only shortbreads on my blog, so it should pop up. They're actually gluten-free, grain-free, dairy-free, and vegan.
No eggs.
There's no eggs.
Vegan means no eggs.
Right.
No animal product has gone in. No animals were harmed while baking this cookie.
No, I love that. And
Okay.
they are, what else? They're definitely not nut free. That is a big thing. It's all about the nuts in this.
Like,
There's
that's what
this
is
version.
This Pesach dick?
Yes, absolutely. You can have these on Pesach.
Melinda,
Yeah.
Amazing.
I
Yeah.
always think about Pesach. You know that because Melinda and I cook together.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so this is this is our my first pre-Pesach cookie. Okay.
I eat these year round. I eat gluten. I like to eat gluten free a lot of the time just because it makes me feel better.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
have an
with you.
intolerance. I do have diabetes, so I find that eating gluten free just helps me to keep my sugar down and more in control. So
You
it's
talk,
helpful.
Honey, and I can eat.
Yeah, you guys eat.
So
So,
what, can I ask you, what bracha do you make on this?
I would
it
go with the
shahakol?
shahakol on that.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I would definitely
Okay.
go shahakol.
We're smothering it in some jam.
Yeah,
A la,
they are-
a la sufganiyot.
Oh
They
my
are so
God.
good with jam. I love them, and I keep them in the freezer, so they're always handy. And I just pop them right out of the freezer. I don't even wait
So
for them to
good.
defrost. Thank you.
Oh my god! And this blackberry pomegranate jam.
It's amazing.
Good.
Right out of my pantry.
Amazing.
You can make homemade jams. I have a lot of preserve recipes on my blog. I just find it's so simple. You just throw whatever fruits you want. You can even add preserves to it into a pot with maybe some orange juice, and you just let it simmer
Need
down.
sugar though.
Oh, you use pure maple syrup or honey instead of sugar.
Fruits have their own natural sugars.
They do, but it's not enough to really get it to be as thick as you
I
want
find
it.
also that the sugar makes it it gives it that thickness. You're not going to get the same thickness if you use like maple syrup or honey. I've done it.
Works.
This is
I mean-
delicious.
It might be a little different, but it definitely adds. And I love when it has chunks in it. This is more of a smooth one, but I have tons of preserve recipes on my blog. I just love making jams and preserves. I even have a canner at home, a huge canner.
Really?
I don't use it enough, but I love.
Oh, I'd like
canning.
to come and watch you next time you make it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Make
Invite me
etrog
too.
jam. Yeah, we'll have a party.
I
at
never
your home.
did like proper canning, like
Oh, yeah.
sterilizing the jars. I've never done
My grandmother used to do it all the time. This is
It's great
unreal.
because then you can make big batches. I made like jalapeno jam before, and you just stick it in your pantry, and you have it for a year. Sometimes some are a little less, but usually they last, I think, a year, maybe even more, because they're canned.
that. Right.
Nice.
I always get scared if I don't can it properly.
Yeah.
Well, you'll
Because
know
the
if it's canned
bacteria,
properly.
because you open it up, it's got mold.
Yeah. Well, you know
Not
if it's canned
always.
properly because first of all, usually the top, because it has a little
Pops.
pop. If it's down properly, you'll know, and you'll see if there's beads on the inside after it's done.
There's like
canning
this
and cool.
invisible bacteria that can kill you.
There is?
Yeah.
It's probably
Oh.
more than one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So let's make
And
sure
it
that we
involves
learn.
canning products. So. yeah.
Yeah, so we need to make sure that if we learn how to do it, we do it properly.
Read the directions, YouTube it, Google it. I remember watching tons of videos to make sure I was doing it right. The first time I did it, it took like hours because I just wanted to make sure it was done right before I posted it and I
There are
have
special
pictures.
tongs, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, it all comes when you get a canner. I actually got it for Hanukkah a few years ago. Every year for Hanukkah, my mom says, "Hey, what do you want?" So I always think of something random that I wouldn't buy for myself, but I would love to have in the house, like a pasta dryer.
Oh,
What's a pot? Well, who needs a pasta dryer? I have one in my house.
really? I'm going to borrow you.
You are welcome to borrow
I
it.
love to make pasta, and I make a lot of my own pasta, but I take my washing lines.
I've seen the picture before.
I hang them on my washing lines.
At least they're clean.
I clean it up very well, and I spray it a little bit, and then I put my pasta to dry. But then when
Love
it's
it.
all done, then I have to re-clean the.
Yeah.
You
the
can
rack.
borrow my
I'll borrow
pasta
your rack.
dryer.
Yeah.
I don't think it's even come out of the box. I'm going to be honest,
Okay, you'll send that to down Woodmead
but I do
Boulevard.
have it exactly. So
Me and Melinda made fresh pasta together.
it was so fun.
It was-
we
it
posted
was really
recipes on
fun.
our blog.
She made dessert pasta, chocolate pasta.
Chocolate
Of course,
pasta.
Melinda made chocolate pasta. She made s'mores pasta.
We fried that. That would be great for Hanukkah.
Did I not know
also.
you guys when you were doing this?
Yeah, you didn't.
Oh my
You
god!
knew me, but I don't know if we all had,
yeah.
you know.
And I made a mushroom barley ravioli. I made barley pasta. I stuffed it with short ribs and braised short ribs, and then I made a wild mushroom sauce. on top.
Oh, it was insane. It was insane.
Can I just say, you guys make better foods than any of the restaurants. Can I
Oh,
say that?
I mean, sure. Why not?
It's more exotic than the restaurant.
Than most restaurants. There are a few.
We need a
that-
food blogger restaurant.
Belinda, we need to do a pop-up. What do you say?
a pop-up.
You have time for that? I mean, if you're in.
They need that on the Lower East Side. There's no restaurant currently, but we know there are some coming. This to the spaces where the former pizza shop were.
Yeah,
and,
what's opening there?
I believe some sort of milchik restaurant. That's all I know. We do have Kosas Bialis, but once upon a time this neighborhood was bustling with kosher food everywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
So we have the kosher store, the East Side kosher store right here, which has yummy pizza.
They do have really good
They have
pizza.
good pizza.
Oh, they do?
Yeah. Burned our mouths like right now.
Yeah, I know.
We ate too quickly. We were so excited.
After our last show together, we were like starving, right? Because we're always starving. Talk about food for an hour. So we got this fresh pizza, literally fresh. It was right out of the oven. We ate it right away. The rest of our day, our mouths are burning.
And we ate so much other food that day. I don't know if
remember
anyone was
that.
following
That
us on
was-
Instagram.
yeah.
We just kept going and going, and the whole time we could taste our food, but we
It was
had
a little
burned mouths.
We had sore mouths. So make sure your pizza is cool before you pop it in your mouth.
Yep.
Okay, so we've had a little taste of the samples. Tell me what's been going on your blog and what you've been up to, because you are also super busy and kitchen dash tested.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a whole lot of different things going on. You know, I started separately. I actually started working for Great Kosher Restaurants.
Yes, you
which is
came
so
on-
exciting.
You came on with Ilan a couple of.
Yeah.
I think that's the last time you were here in
That's
October.
right, and it's so fun. I love keeping my job in the food industry because that's really where my passion is. It's in food. You know, I had my kosher food bloggers conference, which I'm still following up on things for.
Yeah.
You know, when you have more things, sometimes you have to balance it out. So we had huge giveaways from the event, so we're still following up and sending.
I
out
won
all
one.
those. Yes, you did. What'd you win, Connie?
I won the new kosher restaurant cookbook.
Did you?
Secret restaurant recipe.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent! I got it. They gave it to me at Kosher Fest.
And
because
it's a beautiful
Victoria was on the
cookbook.
show, and
Yeah.
oh, it's amazing.
It's beautiful.
I saw Victoria the other day, and I told her I was away and I haven't had a chance to use it yet. But this Shabbos,
What are you making?
so I was thinking I've got to go home and do it because I've just had a crazy busy week. So I've got all the ingredients lined up for oh my gosh, I'm really drawing a blank. It's been a really hard day. Okay, from Reserve Cut, the tacos.
Oh my gosh! So you know what I did?
Okay, tell
I
me.
saw the tacos and I was like, I really want those tacos, so I went to Reserve Cut.
So you what?
I went to Reserve Cut.
You went to Reserve. She is a great cook, and she went to the restaurant
You know
rather than
what?
making herself.
There was. I have to say.
How was it?
That I have to say that it's a great cookbook, but some of the stuff is very involved. I mean, obviously, if they're restaurant recipes,
they're coming from a restaurant.
For
They're coming
sure,
from
for
trained
sure.
chefs. We're home cooks.
for sure.
And sometimes you can adapt them. I think some people who want it easier can do it. You know, some people like tapachki around. I love tapachki.
I do
I
once
love-
in a while.
I love
Yeah.
a 7-pot recipe anytime.
Right. Right.
You know?
If it tastes good, then I always think it's worth
But
it.
the tacos were amazing. My whole dinner was really good. I have to say, all the food was amazing.
Yeah, I'm dying to go there. Have not yet gone there.
I went from anniversary
neither.
dinner, and the cocktails
go
were
there.
great. Everything was great. Everything was great.
I don't think they're open for lunch, Naomi.
I
Not on a
think they are. Yeah, that's true.
Not
You're
on a
right.
Friday.
Not on a Friday.
But we will go soon.
Yeah,
It's a date.
I like that. I like that idea. We should. People, if they ever want to come eat with me, Melinda, Honey, just let us know. We'll make a group together, and any listeners that want to join us on one of our foodie adventures. If you follow all three of us on Instagram, Busy in Brooklyn,
On Instagram, it's kitchen tested.
not with a dash. Or Naomi Nachman. I'm actually not Aussie Gourmet on Facebook. On Instagram, you can come join us and eat lunch with us because it's so much fun. I think food is like eating in a restaurant. As much as I love to cook, I love to eat out. Like we all went out as a group the other night just to hang out and eat and drink good food, and
Yeah, if the food is
Great.
good, then it's
It's
always
also
worth it.
I feel like eating out in restaurants inspires different dishes of mine. Like you
Right.
eat something and you're like, oh wow, that would be cool if you do your own twist and make it your own way. But eating in all different places in different countries, that really expands your palate and
and your local culture. I a couple years ago, must have been maybe more than 10 years ago, I had a fabulous meal at La Moraine. It's still one of my husband's favorite to go to restaurants. It's you know what to expect, you know what you're going to get, and it's always good. I've never had a dud meal there. One time we went there, they had a fish bouillabaisse. Now, it's a fish stew, like a soup. but it's not usually kosher because it has all kinds of like crab legs and mussels in it. But they made a kosher version of it. It was so delicious. I wish I could get the recipe from them. So of course I went home and I kind of Googled around and looked around and did my research. And it was before all the blogs. You know, it was 10 years ago, so you had very basic food websites. And I put together a really yummy flounder bouillabaisse. I think it's on my blog, but it's delicious. Like, people are like, ugh, fish soup.
I'm a little scared of it.
I love fish soup.
Delicious.
And you know,
If you
Naomi
like
does
food,
everything with fish. Everything Naomi makes with fish is amazing. So
I'm big into fish.
Yeah.
So actually, I put on my blog a recipe for fish poke, P-O-K-E. It's from Hawaii because it's like a big thing there. Everywhere, every every supermarket and small, sometimes you find these small boutique food shops, and they will sell some cheeses and wines and salamis and fishes. So everyone had food poke.
What is poke?
Okay, so it's almost like a tuna tartare. So it's raw fish that's cured with and chopped up.
but bigger pieces than if you have a tartare. They're much bigger
Yes,
pieces.
slightly. They weren't so much bigger.
Yeah.
Instead of like a
Mush.
like a tartare is almost like finely pulsed on a food processor. So this is something you cut with a knife.
Okay.
And then you add in, lime juice and nuts, very finely chopped nuts, cilantro,
Sounds like a ceviche.
salt. It's a cross between a ceviche and a tartare. Let's go with that. But
Okay.
they have like poke competitions
Really?
in Hawaii. Like it's
So
like,
it's
it's a big
it's
thing.
always fish.
And it's usually always tuna.
Oh, cool.
Ahi tuna, A-H-I, ahi tuna, which is the best. I just want to say that, as a shout out to Aussie's Fish, I do a lot of fish recipes for them. But with any fish that you buy from any place, no, we're talking about food that's not high quality or spoil. Always make sure your fish is super fresh, especially when you're eating it raw, because it's, again, one of those silent things that could just you won't die from it, but you could get really, really sick. So you always want to make sure that you have the freshest quality tuna. It's when you're making your own sushi at home, or poke or ceviche or tartare. Cook it, make sure it's not cooked, but fresh and treated well.
It's a nice red color
Dark
to
in
it.
colour.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just, ask your fishmonger and tell him what you're doing with it, so he gives you the freshest of the fresh.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So what else is going on? I saw those Reuben bites, by the way.
Oh yeah, I made Reuben bites with and I made those for Thanksgiving, but they're really good. They're great for New Year's too.
I'm obsessed with them.
They are
I haven't made them.
so fun. I made a rye waffle instead of using rye bread, and it's got a little bit of sweetness to it from the honey, so you can eat them for breakfast. I think they're really good. But I topped them with pastrami and a sauerkraut cranberry sauce, which is something I'd never seen before.
Sounds
And I thought
amazing.
it's really good, and it's got a little bit of the sourness to it from the sauerkraut, but it's also sweet because that's what you want from your cranberry sauce, and it was really fun.
You never cease to amaze me, both of you, where your ideas just come from.
I really think that the blogging world brings out your creativity, because everyone's doing these mashup recipes, hybrid ideas, and you just push yourself to try and come up with something different than everyone else, and
It's
brings
hard.
out your creativity.
Yeah, it's really hard, and you got to keep up. You got to, if you want to stay busy in our fields, I feel like you've got to be on the social media, and you want to share and Facebook
And it's good to
Instagram,
follow other bloggers,
other people,
because one of the great things, and this isn't just for food, this is for it's for fashion, for anything you're doing, is when you follow other people and you become friends with them, and you start Googling and checking around these recipes, you find that I'll come up with what I think is an amazing idea, and then I'll Google it and be like, oh, this has been done 20 times before.
Yeah, always got to do that.
So, and sometimes it's in a completely different market that I know that people who follow my blog have never seen before, because it's someone who's just completely out of their realm, or just someone that they would maybe Google, but not someone that they follow. And I'll do the recipe anyways, because I'm doing it in a different way.
Right.
But-
That's like me with a Hasselbeck. Right, I learned
Yes,
from Hani,
yes.
and I always say this is inspired from Hani Afam. I have my own recipe, and I think you also have a
Melinda actually also introduced me to it originally. I called it Hasselback. That was my original take on it, because I think, what was it called? Crack salami.
salami.
crack
online.
salami.
Yeah.
Josef Silva also has a recipe.
Right.
But I always say, you
they're all
taught me
so
about it, so I'll
different.
always, if I ever do it, I will always say, inspired by,
Right.
you know, where I got my
Or like
inspiration
the cauliflower
from.
pizza. We
Cauliflower
did that
pizza.
together.
That's right. I forgot about the cauliflower pizza.
Yeah.
It's always nice to give, you know, mention
Yeah,
where your inspiration comes from, especially if you're posting something. If you've made a recipe from somebody's cookbook, give the or your, you know, you showed the picture or you're showing just the recipe, mention who wrote the recipe. You know,
Yeah,
it's not-
totally agree.
there's a lot of, I'm going to use air quotes for the people that are not that are just listening, but there's a lot of ripping off that's going on. So
Yeah,
just, you know,
yeah.
you want to be respectful to all our people that have inspired us. And, you know, you are listening to Table for Two with Naomi Nachman on the Nachum Siegel Network, also heard on Arut Sheva English Radio. Our show is sponsored by our friends Abels and Hyman. Hey, honey, we did it together. There you go, Seth. We did it together. Yeah, so it's a lot of fun, the whole Abels and Hyman thing.
It really is.
Yeah. I forgot to mention that before, the turkey ones, the turkey hot dogs. I'm coming back to it. You said how your daughter doesn't usually. I know, but right. So my daughter likes the turkey ones.
Oh, okay, cool.
She never eats hot dogs, but she'll eat the turkey one. So I forgot to mention that.
And
I
those
thought I would
little
throw that in.
ones. This is Naomi posted on, it was on Instagram, right? So
on
at my
Instagram.
conference, one of my amazing sponsors was Abels and Hyman, and they put these little dried salamis. Was it
Turkey. It was turkey
Turkey.
salami. So I didn't feel like I was, you know, raising my
kids
cholesterol.
love them.
In the
love
swag
them.
bags.
And you know what? They took them to school for snack, and their friends were begging for them. I was like, what?
That's so funny. So I needed, like, because we didn't know what kind of food we would find in Hawaii. So Melinda said, I've got, you know,
I had a few extra
takeover from the bloggers conference. She gave me some. They were a lifesaver. Sometimes you're absolutely starving and the plane hasn't gated yet, and you know it's a nut. You got to pick up the car rental and go to the hotel, and then you'll want to eat, and you're starving, and you just we kept them in our carry-ons. And we were just like shoving them down our mouth.
I could have used those when I was in Iceland last year, let's be honest.
Yeah, it's really good.
We didn't have much to eat there. We brought our own food. So those salamis would have been really, really helpful.
So a good shout out to those little turkey salami packages. Thank you, Abels and Hyman and Hodgalan, for supplying those to everyone. Let's do our What's for Dinner segment. Our What's for Dinner segment is sponsored by Gourmet Glut Emporium out in Cedarhurst, where we will be next week. 9 a.m. live. So Honey is going to jump in and do our What's for Dinner segment. We like to do something quick and easy for a busy working mum. So I'm going to give it to Honey.
So I'm going to share a really quick recipe because I actually shared this on Instagram a little while ago, and people loved it. And someone just wrote me the other day that they made it for dinner and it was great. So I don't even measure. I just take a London broil. I like the butcher cut London broil. I find it's really the most tender.
Okay, talk to me about the other kind.
Well, we'll talk about London broil for a second because people have a very big misconception about London broil. London broil is not a cut of meat. It's a method of preparation, which means, what is London broil? It means you marinate it and grilled, or some people broil it. It's not a cut. London broil can be cut from all different parts of the animal. So a lot of time the butcher will take an extra piece that he has and then cut it into that London broil shape and sell it as a London broil. So that's why sometimes you might buy London broil and it'll be more tender. Sometimes you'll buy it and it'll be more tough. All depends on where they cut it on the animal.
I had no idea. Thank you,
Fantastic.
honey.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I actually have a little a meat guide that I wrote on my blog.
I use it
a
all the
guide to
time.
buying kosher meat, and it explains all the different parts of the animal, where the cuts come from, and depending where a cut comes from, that's you'll know how to cut. You know how to cook it. Because if it's a very tough cut, you need to braise it, and if it's a more tender cut, then you just need to dry roast it. So I explain all of this in my guide, and you can go to my how-to section of my blog, and it says Guide to Purchasing and Preparing Kosher Meat. So this London broil is such a budget-friendly piece of meat to buy for dinner. You can get like a 3-pound piece of London broil that could feed your family for probably about $20, I would say.
Yeah, I find it's an economical
Yeah,
sometimes
cut.
so
even
it
less,
really
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It's budget-friendly, so I love that. So what I do is I put it in a Ziploc bag. I put a couple of cloves of crushed garlic in there, a little bit of soy sauce, olive oil. I like to put olive oil when I marinate meat. I find that it really tenderizes and it makes it very soft. And soy sauce and honey. I don't even measure. I just kind of drizzle. And then I marinate in the fridge as long as I have. You know, sometimes it's only an hour. Sometimes it's a couple of hours. Take it out of the marinade, put it in a pan, and then I broil it for about 8 minutes on each side for about a 3-pound London broil. And then you cut it against the grain really thin. Serve it with some mashed potatoes, Even in a salad, I took the leftovers the next day and I made a salad with arugula and roasted beets. It was so good. I made like a truffle mayo dressing. So
Of course you did.
so
How do we make a truffle mayo dressing? Just quickly, another little...
you take mayonnaise and then just a tiny drop of truffle oil.
Because it's expensive.
It's very expensive,
Very
but
strong.
a little goes a long way, and you can buy a bottle and it will last you like a year because you literally only use a drop, and it adds so much amazing flavor. Add a little bit of water to get it to a little bit of a thinner
Thinness.
consistency, and that's really all you need because it's so packed with flavor. So
Oh, I've got to try
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I know, definitely know Gourmet Glad has a very nice selection of oils, which include the truffle oils.
Yeah.
It's $20 a bottle. I'm going to warn you on that.
yeah,
But again, it's gonna last you
worth
the
it.
whole
Yeah, so
year.
it'll
Yeah, last you a
Totally.
year. That's a really nice
Totally.
thing.
So London Broil really works. It works great for salads, and my kids are such picky eaters, and they lick their plates clean. But you never want to overdo it. You never want to. You don't want to make it. You want it to be nice and pink, even a little red in the center.
Yeah, I like my so I didn't know that, and that's what's so great having you on the show and sharing, of ideas between all of us, and share your ideas out there, listeners and viewers. Share if you have something to share, please share it, and I'll even read it on the air to share with other people. Naomi at nachmansiegel.com, because I love learning, and I did not know about the London Broil cut. Melinda and I are like,
Brilliant.
Who knew? Because I order from Gourmet Glad. I make that something similar. I call it the London Broil, and they call it the shoulder cut.
Right.
It's always the same cut
Okay.
with them. And I marinate and I throw it on the barbecue. I kind of do it in the summer months when you're looking for a grilled, to serve some sliced grilled steak. So that's what I do. But I didn't realize it was different cuts of meat.
Yeah. Another really great cut that you can use in place of London Broil, which is even more tender. I would say this is my favorite cut of all, is the fillet split. The minute steak roast.
I learned that from Susie Fishbein.
Yeah, it has a thick layer of gristle that goes down the center. But if they split that in split that between the gristle, you get it's called fillet split. That is so great for grilling. You don't even need to marinate it because it's such a tender cut. You grill that, it's really delicious. Another way I like to use it, because a lot of people always complain they buy pepper steak and it's so chewy. And it's so
Yeah,
So
I've
you
not had
have
great
to
experience.
braise it to break it down, otherwise it doesn't work. But what if you want to do a really fast stir fry? You know what you do? You buy fillet split and you cut it yourself, really thin slices, and then all you gotta do is really quick stir fry, and you got a really tender cut.
I use Leah Shapira. She has a recipe in her Fresh and Easy for pepper steak without peppers, because I hate peppers, right? So I love that recipe, but you have to saute it for 2 hours.
Right.
Because you need to break it down.
Right.
And it happens to be a great Pesach recipe, because you can buy all those ingredients now for Pesach, and I kind of, it freezes amazing because it's got a lot of sauce. But that's a great idea for a quick stir fry. I love
make
that.
a pepper steak that I cook also for about 2 hours with a plum sauce. Nobody uses this ingredient, like I'm probably the only person, but they sell canned plums by the canned fruit section in the supermarket. They sell canned plums.
Yeah.
They have pits in them. I take the pits out, but it's an Asian recipe. I put garlic, sometimes ginger in there. I put hoisin sauce, which is an Asian barbecue sauce, a plum barbecue.
Is that
sauce.
what it is? Hoisin is Asian barbecue sauce?
Yes.
Okay. I use it, but I didn't know how to.
Yeah, so I put that with the
Describe it.
plums, and it's like it's an Asian dish. It's a
That one's
plum
on your
pepper
blog,
steak.
honey?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I make it all the time. I really do, but that has to cook for 2 hours, and a lot of times you just don't have 2 hours to cook dinner. So
Can you do that in a crock pot?
You probably could. You probably could.
I actually got a text from someone on my way when I was walking down Grand Street, and they asked me for a recipe for crock pots. I am so not good at crock pots.
Well, you know what? I'm so not a crock-pot person either, but we went in the summer. We went away, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to be a slave to cooking dinner. We were in the Poconos for a week, and I was like, I want to enjoy my time. I'm going to bring my crock pot, and I'm going to make crock pot dinners every single day. And that's what I did. And they were all so good. And then I put up a post on my blog with the recipes. I did a
I remember it.
I wrote about Bushkill Falls. That's where we went in the Poconos.
Near
And then I
Campina.
wrote about my week of crock pot dinners.
Yeah,
They all look good.
I'm
I was
so-
following on Instagram.
They were easy. I took
afraid.
a chuck roast, stuck it in there with some onions in the bottom and a bottle of bone sucking sauce, and
That was
just let
it?
it cook the whole day. And then I pulled it apart into shreds, and we made pulled beef.
Yeah. That's why I
a
find
sandwich, put it on mashed potatoes, put it on rice.
I'm
It's
like-
so easy.
So this hoisin recipe with the plums and everything, it sounds like it's something that would be really great in a crock pot. And if you're using
That
a big
would-
cut of meat, you can even, I know it's one more thing you have to do, but you can brown it first on all 4 sides just to keep the moisture and the liquid inside of the meat before you put it in the crock pot. And then just put all the ingredients
I mean,
in.
I didn't do that because I just wanted it easy. I literally threw the whole chuck roast in.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. It was so good.
As I would talk about all the traveling I do, I never thought to bring a crock pot and do that with me.
Yeah, that's all.
When you're driving, especially like something like where it's a road trip and you're just sticking it in your car and going, it's so smart.
Yeah. Because you know what? You want to enjoy your vacation.
Would
You
it
don't
be
wanna a
funny if you
slave.
could plug it into the car?
Oh,
You
that
could cook in the car.
I mean, with all that liquid might be a little
so
dangerous.
many hours.
I'm just saying.
though, so I don't know.
I'm joking. Yeah, but you drive to Canada, right? You plug it in when you leave Long Island. It'll be cooked by the time you get to Montreal.
Or you just go to Montreal and you get some poutine.
There you go.
I tell you, it's so funny that I've been to Montreal so many times.
And you've been to this restaurant before.
And I've been-
you
right,
didn't get
and
the
I've been-
poutine.
Anyway, they put the recipe in the new secret restaurant recipe book, cookbook.
Oh, that's so
go.
funny.
Yeah, the poutine.
Oh, that's so
But
funny.
they make it with, I was a little disappointed.
Uh-uh.
Powdered gravy mix.
Oh, that's right.
Where?
No, that's not happening.
No.
No. Just make my Parmesan gravy.
There
Okay,
you go. Make their recipe with Khani's Parmesan gravy, and you're
They
good
just
to
do
go.
it with, they use shredded mozzarella and French fries. That's it. And then they did the powdered gravy mix.
That's so fun. I got to try that next time I go to Montreal. My husband and I both have family in Montreal, so we have a lot of ties there. Problem is, there's never any time to go. So one
never
time
been.
we went there in the winter. It was so cold. It was miserable.
God.
I'm like, I am not doing that again. So I've been there in July, but otherwise Montreal. I mean, it's a beautiful place. And they've great. They
It
do
is
have
a
a lot
really
of
nice
great
place.
restaurants.
They do.
They do have a lot of great
They do.
restaurants. It's been a long time, but I like warm weather. Snow has definitely lost its enchantment that it originally had when I first moved here. I've been here now. Thanksgiving made it 23 years.
Wow.
I know, I still sound like I'm fresh off the boat. And I just couldn't, the first 5 years I couldn't get enough of the snow. It was
But you know, when you're in a house and you have kids, and then all of a sudden they don't have school, and you can't get out of your house, and you're all stuck inside, it loses the fun.
'Kay.
It's nice to see them get excited about it especially when your kids are young. But as a parent, you're like, oh, it's snowing again.
my favorite activity, don't laugh, I promise you I'm not making this up. The minute it hits, the snow starts falling and it starts
It's
building
supposed to
up.
snow today. You know that, right?
It did already a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's always
It's always going to be snowing. It's going to snow today. It's going to snow tomorrow. We're in it. So the snow is never ending.
I know, right? Okay,
Yeah.
March. By Pesach, it'll be fabulous.
Yeah.
So my favourite activity to do is snow, and my cousin Shelley Serba also does this, is we make barbecues in the snow. I think it's the
That's
Michigan
so fun.
Australian in us that we do this.
And
So
who
I
stands
love-
outside in the freezing
Me.
cold?
Well, my husband does not cook. He knows how to make toast. So I
Shelley
open my
never
back
does?
door. Shelley does, also in her house. So we shovel, she does it in West Hempstead, and I do it in Widmore, and I shovel my back steps to get to my barbecue, and I brush off all the barbecue, and then I have to clean my garage. And then my favorite activity on a snowy blizzard day, I'm not kidding, is going to Gourmet Glatt. I know I'm crazy, but that's how sicko foodie I am, that I must pack my house with lots of awesome food, and I just make a cookathon. And I cook, and I cook, and I cook, and I cook, and then invite all my neighbours over to eat.
Invite me to the next one.
Yeah.
If you can get
It's
out of
not a
Crown
long
Heights
drive
the
for
next
me.
snowstorm, you come to my house.
When my kids are bored
There-
at home, we're getting in the car. We have an SUV and we're coming over.
You're coming over.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I thought now I can add pasta making to that, because I became obsessed with making pasta.
Yeah.
But I've got a Gourmet Glatt, and I just load up 2 or 3 wagons full of food. I never do it any other time except in a snowstorm.
no one else is
Something
there 'cause
about the
nobody's
storm
coming out.
anyway that makes you just want to stay in the house and cook. Yeah.
I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
So I just, and a barbecue, and I get it all going, and it's so much fun.
I do a lot of indoor grilling in the winter anyway. I have my Lodge cast iron, grill that goes over the 2 burners.
I
That
love
big
that.
rectangle.
yeah,
one.
I've never used mine. I have
They
one.
work. They do a great job.
Very often, if I'm like doing some proper high heat grilling, turns on my smoke alarm. But
Okay, my toaster oven turns on my smoke alarm. It's a little, I think, too
Wow.
close to the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the one time I did have a big fire leaping out of my toaster oven, like literally flames.
Why did you have
Didn't
that? I'm
know-
curious.
I don't know,
Honest.
something happened. It was,
Okay.
and it
I
broke
think that
after
happens with toaster oven. It has happened.
It's leaping flames, no smoke alarm.
Oh.
My kids are like, there's a fire. I'm like, no, there's not. The smoke alarm's going off. They're like, run downstairs. And literally there was a big fat fire coming out of it. My cabinet stunk of smoke for a
Oh,
good few weeks.
gosh.
Yeah, that cleared up. And then we bought a new toaster oven. Yeah.
That was a good idea to do that.
Yeah. Didn't want that to burn the house down. But yeah, this has been so much fun talking about food. For
It's always fun talking
hour.
food with you.
I know. We need to go out to eat afterwards. Maybe churros will be open. Yeah.
Oh boy, churros. We're right in the middle of fried
Hanukkah.
food
Do you know?
season.
Does everyone know? And we can't end a show about Hanukkah without giving churros a mention. Churros is a Spanish donut, for want of a better word to describe it. They kind of make the dough. Instead of making it round, they pipe it into hot oil.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of dough. It's not a donut dough. It's more like a pâte à choux, which is how would you even describe it? It's eggs and flour, but it's made in a completely different way.
More
It's much
chewy.
thicker.
It's
chewier
more like a batter.
with a light, fluffy center. So if you ever make an eclair or have an eclair, how the center is more fluffy,
So
that's how
more
I do
like
a churro.
that. Okay.
And then they you know.
So you can
sprinkle it.
actually, if you have eclair dough, you can fry it
Yeah.
and you'll have a churro.
Yep. And then
Interesting.
don't forget about the cinnamon sugar, because if you have a churro without cinnamon sugar, you are
Right.
not eating a churro.
And these ones that Melinda and I had a few months ago had dulce de leche in the center.
Wow.
That
and
was
then you got to dip them in chocolate and more dulce de leche.
My
and
mother-in-law is
peanut
South
butter.
American, so she totally makes churros for us when we go to her.
oh,
Jealous.
that's nice. You know what I had in Israel? Svinge.
What is
which
that?
is Svinge is Moroccan donuts. And there's also bimluelas, which is like a
Brumuelas.
fried
She
donut.
has them on her
I
blog.
have a pumpkin brumuelo on my site. I grew up eating them in Seattle. There's a huge Sephardic community, a lot of Greeks and Turkish,
That's-
and
my husband's from that.
Yeah.
From the same part of
every year
Greece
in
and
school,
Turkey that they're from.
every year at Seattle Hooper Academy, all the moms would come in and they would make the
Bimluelas.
brumuelas and lots of powdered
How are
sugar.
they different from a donut?
They're dipped in honey afterwards.
Well,
right?
some people dip them in honey. They just sprinkle them with crazy amounts of powdered sugar, and then you.
Well, how are they different from a donut?
It's a different dough. I mean, the recipe's different. I would have to look it up to tell you the exact
I
measurements,
actually
but it's
have
a different
yeah.
recipe.
I have a
I've never
recipe.
tried it.
It
Right on my
rises. It
blog.
doesn't rise as long. That's one thing. And then you don't roll them out. It's a much stickier dough, and you just take it out with your hands. And you want to get your hands oily, and you just stretch them a little so there's a hole in the center, and you drop them in the oil.
Yeah,
There's no rolling out. There's no
Do you have a
cutting.
recipe on your
Very
blog?
cool.
I do for pumpkin brumuelos, which I didn't know when at first I'm like, oh, this is such a genius idea for Thanksgiving last year. And it turns out that it's actually very traditional to make pumpkin brumuelos
Oh, wow.
Oh,
in
there
certain
you
parts of
go.
the world. So
that's cool.
where my aunt always says, no, I only like them the traditional way. I'm like, but pumpkin is traditional, just in a different part of the
Right,
world.
absolutely.
And they are
I have a
fantastic.
recipe, not on my blog, but I did a cooking class, a Moroccan cooking class a couple of years ago, and I did bimluelas. Am I saying it right?
There's different ways of spelling it. Some people do with a B-I-R. Some don't have the R in there. So I just say boomwellos because that's how I always heard it growing up. I actually like them more than donuts, to be honest.
Someone did a post on Svinge, which is the Moroccan one. One, I don't know if it was someone from the Kosher Connections
I've
group,
never
but on
seen it
one of the
before.
foodie groups had you make it. It's basically it's a big thing of dough, a big bowl of dough, and then you take it and you pull it off, and then you kind of roll it out and throw it in hot oil. It's
amazing how many different versions of donuts
Yeah,
there
it sounds
are. It's
crazy.
incredible.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure in Joy of Kosher this month in the magazine they have the history of some of the donuts.
They had a lot of donut recipes.
Yeah, they
in
had
there.
they had an article by Gil Marks.
Yeah. How ironic is that?
Yeah. He talked about it. I read it. Yeah.
So big another mention to you at the end of the show. We dedicated our hour to you, and as our hour comes to a close, and we're so hungry, we got to eat some more of these.
Yes,
because
they were really good.
It's been a big.
You
food
don't have
tour.
to feel bad while you eat them because they're good for you.
They're good for
They
you.
are actually. It's just a lot of nuts. It's a lot of protein.
Linda's the queen of that, de-guiltifying all the good stuff.
Yeah, and I don't even make myself go. I'm like, eat, live. Come on. Have
But
a
if it
donut.
tastes good,
It's
then
my
We
it's
all need to go on Naomi's diet, and then she doesn't gain any weight.
Isn't it
Yeah.
unbelievable?
spin at Ina, but I don't know. You know, I hold myself accountable to what I eat. So
Right.
yeah. So when
Sometimes
you
I do not.
sometimes
That
when you
is the
see me
problem.
eating chicken and waffles for lunch, it's chicken and waffles for lunch, and very light dinner. So I do like trying to balance it out.
Right.
And, you know, you can make chicken and waffles healthy too if you really
Everything
want
in
to.
moderation. Well, so that's what Melinda does.
Yeah.
Melinda just finds a way to make all this trashed up food healthy.
I should, I have chicken waffles on my blog with red velvet waffles from a few years back. One of my blog anniversaries.
that,
Every
yeah.
year I do something with red velvet. I'm thinking this year of doing just a traditional red velvet cake the way my grandmother used to make.
That's nice.
Just because it's just that good. But
Krispy Kreme has a red velvet donut. I forgot to buy it. My kids will kill me because I love red
what
velvet.
were you thinking?
I know.
What were you thinking?
But you
I
know what?
want to do a red velvet cake with natural food coloring, made with beets.
Beets?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
what I really want to do one time.
Okay. Wow.
I like that.
Are we going to follow that up? Because as
gonna
we
be a
end our
little
show
pink.
now,
It's gonna be a little more pink than red.
It'll be
but
pink than red. Yeah, we're going to try
It's gonna
that.
taste good.
I actually
either way.
read some people it turned brown. So
We'll
what's wrong with
find
a
out.
brown cake? Chocolate cake is kind of dark brown.
That's all
But
red
hence
velvet
the word
cake is.
red velvet.
All
Yeah,
red
I
velvet
know.
cake is chocolate cake with
I know.
dye.
Right.
So
Right. I don't get that. But yeah.
Cool, guys. Thank you so much for coming in on this lovely Friday.
Yeah.
Always
Thank-
a pleasure to be
Thanks
here.
for having us.
Happy Hanukkah
Happy Hanukkah to everyone.
and happy frying.
Happy Frying Day. Friday.
Frying day.
Frying Day Friday.
Yes.
Okay, good Shabbos to everyone. This is Table for Two with Naomi Nachman on the Nachum Segal Network. Our show is sponsored by
Abels and Hyman.
We taste better. Listening to music, we have it right up until lichtbenching of candles and Hanukkah lights. Good Shabbos. See you next week in Gourmet Glatt. See you 9 a.m.